Hello. Welcome to Scare a Screamcast episode. I don't know what in the fuck. Sorry for cussing right away. Oh my gosh. But welcome. This is the last podcast of 2025. It's in fact New Year's Eve right now. I'm sipping on my hot tea. I missed last week's episode because I was sick. I got sick right before Christmas and was sick throughout Christmas. I'm still kind of like lingering a little bit, you know. So there's going to be a lot of that, a lot of coughing and sniffing. I apologize in advance. And I have tea, so we're good. But I have a lot to go over today. A lot. We're going to go over a little quick update on Gomez, my dachshund of the doom, one of the two. You know, we have Gomez and Herman. I want to go over your answers for who was your dream guest for a horror convention. And I want to go over some things I want to do in 2026 regarding this podcast. And then I have a question for you at the end that you can either call Scare a Scary Hotline with an answer, or you can, as most of you have been doing, leave me a comment on the various social media posts. We do have a voicemail today that I'll be playing as well. A voicemail from someone who answered the question last week, and we always appreciate that. But let's get started with Mr. Gomez. I'm looking at him right now. He's watching me. He's actually about to take a little nap. Hold on. A little sippy sip. I get this tea, and it's chocolate flavored. And it's like a hint of chocolate. It's like if chocolate was around the corner whispering your name into the wind. That's the hint of chocolate you get in this chocolate tea, but it's enough. It's enough. All right. So Gomez, as you know, in September, him and his brother Herman had a very terrible incident where they were basically in liver failure. Their liver enzymes were up off the charts. They were throwing up so much. Gomez was very jaundiced. They both had to stay in the hospital for several days, Gomez even longer. And we've been trying to get to the bottom of it ever since. We've been having their blood work done, and Herman's enzymes level have normalized pretty much, and Gomez's started to go up a little bit again, not nearly to the levels that they were at, but they were climbing up. And so at that point, his vet suggested that we get a liver biopsy, which I was really not wanting to do to him. I was hoping we could maybe get a CT scan or something like that, but the vet suggested a liver biopsy, and I trust this vet. And so he's a specialist. So we took Gomez in, and it was a laparoscopic procedure, but he still came out of there with an incision about an inch long, the poor guy. He didn't have to stay overnight or anything, but he was under general anesthesia. And when I picked him up, they gave him an opioid medication injection. And I was singing Rocket Man, that part where it's like, and I'm gonna be high as a kite by then. I was singing that to Gomez because that boy was high on the way home. His head was lolling. They put him in that damn cone that I can't with that thing. I know he can't and I can't. So I took that off immediately. And he was just making this weird groaning noise, like that. It was a bit much. I felt bad for him. So we got him home, and I made a makeshift little outfit for him that covered his incision scar. Even they had it taped up, but the fear was that he would be able to pull the tape off and then start licking that scar, and then it would get infected, and then you're in deep shit. So I made him a little suit out of 2 little dog t-shirts, and I got on Amazon and I ordered surgical suits. Now, I am telling you, if you have a dog that has had any kind of procedure and they need the incision covered and you don't want them to have to wear that cone of shame, get a surgical suit off Amazon. I would say get 2 because they're going to get them dirty and you need to, constantly be washing them. But Gomez is still wearing one. He's got one on right now. And not only are they so adorable, they look like a damn baby onesie. but they have done its job. He's not able to get at his incision. And so it's healed up nicely. But the vet doesn't want him to be in it for one more week. Okay. So what did the biopsy reveal? What it revealed was he does not have like copper poisoning or heavy metal poisoning. Now, if a dog gets heavy metal poisoning, it kind of depends on how much is in there. But first of all, it's a real bitch to remove heavy metal from their system. And it can definitely lead to terrible liver failure and death. So I knew that going in, that was a possibility. And that was the thing I did not want him to have. And the biopsy revealed he did not have that. So cheers, that was good. The other thing it revealed was that his liver has recovered from the incident that happened in September. He is good. Whatever he got into in September is out of his system. And his liver has basically returned to normal functions, which is amazing. He's been on a medication called Denamarin, and that's basically like milk thistle. And he's been doing well on that. So it revealed those things. But what it also revealed is, I'm going to put it in layman's terms. I have like my notes here, and I have what it's actually called. It's called, what they did find was some malformations. Hepatic hyperfusion was revealed, and that's where the blood flow is reduced to the liver. Actually, it was portal vein hypoplasia, and they're thinking he has something that he was born with that was congenital, that is making it to where the blood vessels aren't doing the best job at getting the blood in and out of the liver. And that's important. You need that. The liver, though, is it has a lot of blood to it, and there's a lot of blood vessels. And so if it's just a couple of them, it's not going to be that huge of a deal. And that's what it seems like it is. That may be the case, but they won't know for sure if that's all that's going on. I guess, I'm not sure if this was discussed or not, but there is a small possibility that he has a portosystemic shunt, and that's basically where a blood vessel bypasses the liver and kind of goes around it and doesn't give the liver the blood it's supposed to at all. And if he has that, there's a surgical fix to it. Otherwise, we can just treat it medically, which is what we're going to do for now. Because, girl, CT scans are another $3,000, okay? Jeez Louise. Y'all about to see a damn GoFundMe for the Dachshunds of the Doomed. I'm broke. Don't ask me for nothing. Don't ask me to buy no Girl Scout cookies. Don't ask me to buy a raffle ticket. Don't send your children to my door selling candy bars this year. I'm not going to buy anything. I got bills to pay, vet bills to pay. So Gomez is going to be on a new liver medication that supports his liver and the blood flow and processing and all of that stuff. And we are in talks with the A&M veterinary school. They're the ones that looked at the biopsy and made the judgments on it, the diagnostic judgments. And they are helping develop a diet for young Gomez. And it seems that the diet he's on right now is basically fine. They might tweak it a little bit, but he eats well. Okay. This baby dog eats, we make him fresh chicken, fresh salmon, and fresh sweet potato twice a day. He gets a couple tablespoons of Greek yogurt and a few frozen blueberries and some kefir. He eats very well. I'm not worried about him. A lot of small dogs, dachshunds included, are prone to this congenital malformation of the liver, apparently. Now, the interesting thing is both Gomez and Herman had elevated liver levels before they had their incident in September, where they got into something most likely, and they're not related as far as we know. They're from two different cities, but the same organization. And my witchy senses are going off a little bit. I think something is amiss here. You're not supposed to, you have to be careful when you breed dachshunds, especially ones that have any kind of congenital malformations, like what's going on with Gomez and possibly Herman as well. Herman, we're not going to give him a liver biopsy again. It's a high dollar test, but I would be willing to bet Herman also had the same congenital malformation, which is interesting. And they both came from the same organization who seems to say that these dogs were all rescued, but rescued from where? I don't know. Were they rescued from a breeder? I don't know. I want to know where they came from originally. Where are they mamas from? You know what I mean? But there's nothing I can do about it now. And I'm glad I have them and I love them and they're going to live long and happy lives. I just know it. So that's the Dachshund of the Doom update. Sometimes I feel silly giving these long updates on my dogs, but I'm telling you, you guys seem to like it. You like the Dachshunds of the Doomed. Whenever I bring them out to Scream Theater, my live event that happens once a month on the first Sunday of the month at Docs Drive-In Theater, people are all about them. People know their names. People want to say hi to them. When I'm at any convention, people come up to me and ask me about the Dachshunds of the Doomed. So I feel, and they ask me how they're doing health-wise. So I feel like I have to give you the update, okay? Update over. How long did that take? I don't know. It's 12 minutes, not bad. 12-minute update, guys, on the Dachshunds of the Doomed. Herman's doing great. Oh, the other thing I read about this congenital malformation, that dogs that have it are typically kind of runt-like in appearance. They're like smaller. And Gomez is very much that. He eats like a horse. He would eat his and Herman's food if he could, and he tries to every single time. But he's itty-bitty, so I don't know. That's another interesting thing. Okay. Sorry. Let me tell you, being congested sucks because I can't barely do any chores without getting out of breath. I'm not getting enough oxygen. I'm not getting enough O2. It's making me short of breath. But this hot tea helps, makes me feel better. I've been getting the Ready Whip. The sugar-free Ready Whip. Oh, I've been getting that sugar-free Ready Whip, boy, and squirting that on my tea, and I need to stop. I did stop for a few days, and then I picked up another can of it today. I can't help myself sometimes, but it brings out that chocolatey goodness of my chocolate tea, so that's why I do it. And I'm really I'm very strictly controlling my diet right now because convention season's right around the corner. And at these conventions, it's one picture after another, which I'm happy to take pictures with people. I love it. I love meeting people and seeing people at the conventions, but not if I'm looking like a stuffed sausage, which has happened before. So I'm trying to prevent that. So my diet right now is very controlled. So every once in a while, I'm going to squirt some sugar-free whipped cream, Ready Whip, on my tea as a special treat. My problem is I'll do it one day as a special treat, and then I'll do it every day until I run out of the can. And then it's not special anymore. It's an addiction. When does a special treat become an addiction? On day 3, I think. Speaking of horror conventions, last episode, I asked you guys who would be your dream guest at one of these horror conventions. I think I used the term bucket list guest. If you could have anybody at the convention, at any of the horror conventions you go to, who would it be that you want to meet? Somebody you haven't met before, somebody you want to meet again, whatever it is. I didn't stipulate that the person even had to be alive. And when I asked the question and I said, hey, call Scary Hotline and let me know. And I got a phone call, but I got several answers. I posted the clip on social media saying, call the hotline and let me know who your dream guest to a horror convention would be. And you guys did not call, but you did comment. which I'll take. I was like, you know what? If I get one or two calls for an episode, that's fabulous. I'd like more, and I think I will get more as we roll along. But for now, you guys commenting on the posts with your answers, I'll take that too. That's great. That'll make it interactive as well. So I'm gonna reveal to you who you all have said you want to be at the conventions. Okay, let's start. Let's start with Facebook. On Facebook, Shelly Knight Davis said she wants to see Lin Shaye, Len from Insidious, and she was also in a movie called House of Abraham that was filmed by an Austin director over here, Lisa Belcher. Anyway, Lin Shaye was one of her answers, and she also said Famke Johansson. What's her name? Janssen. Famke Janssen. You know who that is? For me, Famke is Jean Grey from the original X-Men movies. Oh my gosh, she's beautiful. Was a Dutch model, and she became an actress. And she's been in so many movies, but I think The Faculty and House on Haunted Hill are the two horror movies that she may be known for. I was just talking about her the other day. Beautiful woman. And then she also said Samara Weaving. She was in Ready or Not, and also the Netflix horror movie called The Babysitter, which I thought was fabulous. Did y'all see that? Well done. David Holcutt says Jamie Lee Curtis, and he also says Famke Johansson. I want to say Johansson, but that's not her name. It's Janssen. Famke Janssen. Okay. Let's see. Patricia McCormick, he says, from The Bad Seed. Karen Black from Burnt Offerings. And I think of Trilogy of Terror when I think of Karen Black. Kelly Barnes says she would like to meet Rob Zombie. I think that would be cool too. I don't know if he's ever done any convention. I've never seen him at one, but that would be interesting. I've seen him. I'm sure he does meet and greets at his concerts and stuff. You could probably see him that away. Lorraine the Libra, we're on Instagram now. These are the Instagram responses. Lorraine the Libra, she says Rick Baker. Vincent, nope, she just said Rick Baker. Rick Baker would be fabulous to meet. I've never seen him at a convention. He's a special effects artist, and he has done every cool movie, starting from, I'm not sure what he actually started in, which movie he started with, but I would say An American Werewolf in London and The Howling were his two that he got big off of in the 80s. And then he did every cool horror movie, special effects, and science fiction movies, and whatever movies that needed special effects. Rick Baker was the guy. He did all of them. All of them, bitch. He did all of them. Up until about 2015 when he retired. He's still an actor. You can still see Rick Baker in movies, but it's him acting. He's not doing special effects anymore, which I think is a pity because he's such a talented artist. I do believe he's still making art, just not for movie sets. And I remember seeing something where he was saying one of the reasons why he retired was just the business of making movies is kind of soured him a little bit. They're always needing way too much for way too little time. And he just kind of got sick of it. You could probably find that interview somewhere, but I remember seeing that and thinking, man, what a shame. A treasure Rick Baker is. I would love to meet him. Smash Dick 666. That's Smash Dick 666. They said they would love to meet Vincent Price. Yes, yes, and yes. Would they go up to Vincent Price and be like, Vincent Price, it's so nice to meet you. Can you please sign an autograph? Make it out to Smash Dick 666. I hope they would. If I ever meet you, Smash Dick 666, if I haven't met you yet, please introduce yourself by your handle and not your real name. I think that's fabulous. Smash Dick. Did something happen? What happened? How did your dick get smashed? Anyway, Vincent Price. You know Vincent from all the cool movies in the 50s. House on Haunted Hill, House of Wax. Oh, and then he was also in Edward Scissorhands. That was awesome. Oh, hey, better. That's my friend Kareem. He says Rick Baker, too. That's 2 for Rick Baker. Then C. Flemish, he says Del Toro, Guillermo del Toro. You know him from Pan's Labyrinth. My favorite, The Shape of Water. And then recently Frankenstein, which I have not seen yet, but I will. I'm going to relax. I'm going to see it. It looks amazing. Del Toro does so good with the coloring of his, like the color story in his movies is always fascinating to me. Let's see. Blakey SQ. Blakey SQ. I guess that's how you say it. Clive Barker, he said. He just wants to say thank you to Clive Barker. Clive Barker, Hellraiser, Candyman. What was that other one? What was that one? I can't remember. Those are two. I wish I wrote it down. I didn't. Anyway, Elm Street Toy says Patrick Wilson, another Insidious actor. Necro War says Kane Hodder. Now, Kane is at every dang convention I've ever been to, I swear to you. Kane Hodder is there, and he's choking you. He'll choke you in a selfie. He wears gloves, fingerless gloves, and for your $40 or $70, I don't know what Kane's radar is these days, but he will choke you in a picture. And everybody says he's super nice, by the way, as he's choking you. That's a good picture to have. He was, as you know, Jason in one of the Friday the 13th, New Blood, maybe. All right. Then there's Robert Englund. He wants to meet Felissa Rose. He wants to meet David Howard Thornton. He wants to meet Freddie, Angela from Sleepaway Camp, and of course, Art the Clown. Felissa is another one. She's at all of the conventions. She does very well. Everybody loves Felissa. And she's continues to be in all sorts of indie movies and is very nice and very professional from what I understand. Okay, let's keep going. Butch Cassidy, Slay, says Jodie Foster. I'm trying to think of the horror movies. The only horror movie I associate with Jodie is Silence of the Lambs, of course. Oh my gosh, sorry. I almost burped on the camera. Silence of the Lambs, where she played Clarice. Hello, Clarice. Hello, Clarice. She played Clarice Starling. Did you know that Silence of the Lambs was the first horror movie to win the Academy Award for Best Picture? That's right. Now, some might call it a thriller. I would say it's a horror thriller. Definitely a horror thriller. But yeah, I think that's the only, correct me if I'm wrong, that's the only one that comes to mind for me for Jodie Foster. But she would be great to meet. She's a tremendous actress. Joseph Williams, I don't know how to say your last name. Schenkenfelder. Joseph Williams Schenkenfelder. Who does he say? Oh, Tom Atkins. Tom Atkins, sorry. Oh, yeah. I wanted to meet Tom Atkins about 2 or 3 years ago at Houston Horror Film Festival, and his table was accepting cash only, and I didn't have enough cash on me to meet Tom. I mean, you can go up there and meet him for free, but I feel like if I'm talking to those people, I should get, pay for an autograph or a selfie or whatever. I just feel like, especially if they don't have a line, you know what I mean? I don't want to I just feel like I should support them that way. So I didn't have the money, so I just refrained from going over to his table. But I heard he's coming back to Texas this year. I'm not sure if it's Texas Frightmare Weekend or Houston Horror. He's going to one of those. And I'm going to meet Tom because Halloween 3 is my favorite Halloween. And he is one of the main reasons why Halloween 3 is my favorite. He was also in Maniac Cop. Well, Tom was in The Fog and some other good movies. I can't remember. Okay. Night Centurion says John Carpenter. Oh, man. He was at Texas Frightmare Weekend a few years ago, and they gave him an entire floor for his meet and greet because he had so many people there. I didn't get to meet him, but I did go to his screening of The Thing, and he went up and talked about it after the movie, and it was awesome. He's very funny, a little cantankerous. He's older, and he's, I don't know, like he's someone that I would like to sit down and chew the fat with, so to speak. He's funny. He's a funny guy, but he's like, he doesn't give a fuck. You can kind of tell. He don't give 5 shits at all. That's John Carpenter. You know him from all sorts of things. Halloween, Escape from New York, The Fog. I said the thing already, right? Mouth of Madness. What else? I can't remember. Okay, Flying Ryan, 2014, said Sam Raimi. Of course, Sam Raimi, director of The Evil Dead. He goes to the conventions a lot, so you can see him. Steve Lattery, actor, and my friend, Steve. Steve is in some horror movies. Steve, maybe you'll be at these conventions someday, huh? Steve says he would like to meet Bruce Campbell, another one from The Evil Dead. I didn't get to meet Bruce Campbell, but he was at Frightmare Weekend last year, and I went to the game show that he hosts, and he's hilarious. Bruce is so quick on his feet, like so good at crowd work. I would watch him a million times over. If he comes back and does that horror trivia game show here anytime, I'm there to watch it. He was funny. I enjoyed him. The House of Vipers said, I would like to meet you, meaning me, in this exact eye look. Not this eye makeup look, but whatever I had on last time. Anyway, thank you, House of Vipers. I'll be at Houston Horror Film Festival. I'll be at Texas Frightmare Weekend, and I'll be at Cult Classic out in Bastrop this year. So if you're nearby any of those, come meet me. On TikTok, Peepaw Ghost. What? Peepaw Ghost said Elvira. Twisted Logic 13 said Christina Ricci. You know her from Sleepy Hollow and all of the Addams Family stuff. And I think she's on Wednesday, or she was on Wednesday. I don't know. I only watched season 1 of Wednesday, to be honest. That was enough for me. I liked it, but I tried to get into the next season and I'm done, one and done. One season was good. I don't need to see any more. Stranger Things, by the way, I held on to all seasons. Not all seasons of Stranger Things were good, I would say, in my opinion. I'm not saying they're bad. They weren't. Some were better than others, I'd say, and some were really good. I think this past season, not the one that's on now, the past season was really good. This season, I started watching episode 1, and it just wasn't working for me. And I'm going to try again to get back into it because I did watch all seasons, and this is the last one. So I kind of want to see what happens, but also I'm just kind of like, do I have to? You know what I mean? If I can't get into it, do I force myself, I know I don't know what it is. I think the magic of it is a little off now that the kids are older. I don't want to talk about how they've aged or what medical procedures and some of them are having to make them. Okay, let me just say it. Good Lord. Let me just say this. Okay, listen to me right now. If you're in your 20s and you and your friends are like, let's get Botox as a form of preventative treatments to prevent wrinkles so that we don't look older. You're looking older. You're giving yourself a treatment that women in their 40s and, 30s, I guess, do. Not all women, some women. And I don't think it makes anybody necessarily look younger. It makes you look like you had Botox. It makes you look like you can't do this. I'm waggling my eyebrows right now. I don't know if it makes you look younger. And to me, and maybe it does, maybe there's some good Botox out there that does make you look younger. And that's good. And go for it. I just don't think you need to do it in your 20s. I think it's weird to do in your 20s. It takes away the youthfulness in your 20s. In fact, if you're freezing all of your expression in your 20s with Botox, it's not making you look younger. It's stealing your youth from your face. You only have that kiss of youth for just a moment. It's fleeting. Beauty transcends that. Beauty you can have your whole life. It just changes in different decades of your life. Beauty looks different as you age. But that kiss of youth that you have going from your teens into your 20s, it's there, blink of an eye. And if you freeze it with Botox, it's gone forever. It's gone. You prematurely cut it off. So I'm telling you, if you're in your 20s, don't do it. Don't do it. You know? How about don't do it? How about no? How about stop it? Okay? Don't get me started on fillers. Good Lord. If you're in your 20s and you think you need fillers, Santa Maria, what have we done wrong in this country? Don't do it. Who's telling you you need fillers? Who? Who is telling you that? The Real Housewives of Orange County? The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills? Who's telling you you need filters, especially, not filters, fillers, especially in your 20s? It looks weird. It looks weird. It looks a little weird. Okay? Now, I know that there is some work out there that's really good. It looks really awesome. You can't even tell somebody's had it done. Great. That's awesome. But if you're in your 20s, just keep your face as it is. Just, we need faces that are unique of all proportions. We need big, beautiful noses. We need deep set eyes. We need thin lips. We need those poofy lips that are just poofy in the middle, but skinny everywhere else. We need all of that stuff. It's interesting. It's what's fun to look at. Everybody's got the damn same face, it feels like these days. Anywho, back to this. Okay. Back to the TikTok comments. Courtney Headley said she wants to meet Tom Savini. Again, Tom is at every Texas Frightmare weekend I've ever been to. I started going to those in 2019. He's been at every single one. He's a fixture, Tom Savini. I did meet him. I got his autograph. I think I said a few words to him. He's very quiet. He said more to me when I was in the elevator with him than he did when I was getting his autograph, which is interesting. But yeah, Tom is very approachable. He's at all of those. You guys know Tom. Tom Savini's an actor and a special effects artist. He was also very big in the 80s. He was in From Dusk Till Dawn. What was his name? Sex Machine or something like that. This is one of the bikers that had the gun on his penis. He was in was he in Maniac, or did he just do the effects on Maniac? In Maniac, there is a shotgun to the head, exploding head inside of a car scene. That's one of my favorite practical effects scenes in any horror movie, and that's from Tom Savini. I love that movie. I love it. But Tom Savini, him and Rick Baker are the two. Rick and Tom and Rick, they did everything in the 80s. And Tom does all of them. He does all of the conventions, I mean. Who else we got? Only a few more. AJ on TikTok said Kurt Russell. Oh, God. Bone Tomahawk, Escape from New York, The Thing. I would love to meet Kurt Russell. Doesn't he seem like such a down-to-earth fella? I don't know what it is about him. Like anytime you see an interview with him, he just seems easy to talk to. And I love him in all of his movies. Okay, let's see. Nilo said Elvira he would like to meet. Ditto. I met Cassandra Peterson. She was not dressed up as Elvira at the time, but I did get to meet her, and I will always treasure that. Always. But if she ever came out of retirement, because she's retired as far as Elvira goes, if she ever pulled Elvira out of the closet and put her back on, I would find a way to get to wherever she was, and I would meet her. Elvira. And then Poppy Foxglove. Where do these names come from? Poppy Foxglove. I don't even know what that means. Is that a perversion? I don't know. Poppy Foxglove said Dee Wallace. He said she's so beautiful and underrated. Yes. I got to interview Dee Wallace recently. You know, Dee from The Howling, from House on... No, she was in... What was the one where they're all out in the desert? And the radiation like made them all have extra eyes. And so, The Hills Have Eyes. Anyway, E.T. Dee Wallace is beautiful still. If she's not 80, she's close. I hope I didn't age her. She's in her 70s, mid 70s. I don't know, but she looks younger. She looks beautiful. Her skin is gorgeous. her skin's beautiful, her hair's beautiful. She's very nice, very wonderful woman. I enjoyed talking to her. And then finally, I Am Jeremiah said he wants to meet Robert Englund and Cassandra Peterson. Of course, Robert Englund, Freddy Krueger, Cassandra Peterson, who is known for being Elvira. Oh, no, I have a few more. Sorry. Jason Miller said he wants to meet Bill Moseley. I got to interview Bill at Houston Horror Film Festival. Most famously known for his character in all of the Rob Zombie movies. Devil's Rejects, House of a Thousand Corpses, et cetera, 3 from Hell. Also, he was Chop Top in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. I think aside from the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I think 2 is my favorite. So it goes in order. My favorite is Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1, and my second favorite is Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Mostly because of Chop Top. He's divine in that movie. And Bill himself is, you need to, if you have the Facebook, you need to go on Facebook and see if you can friend request him or follow him or whatever. Because he writes little Facebook posts every day or so, maybe every other day. And there are a couple of paragraphs, and they're just like his musings of the day. And I really enjoy reading him. He's a very good writer, and he's funny. And he's pretty funny in person, too. Sometimes I have moments, I think I talked about this before, well, I'll have a moment where I'm like, I can't believe I'm fucking talking to this person right now. That they're letting me do this, that I get to go to these conventions and interview people in front of people. I run panels. I do the whenever they have a panel of celebrity guests and there's somebody interviewing them in front of the audience. I get to do that. And every now and again, I'm like, what in the hell? One time it was super surreal. I was at Cult Classic Convention, and I cannot remember this actor's name at the moment, but he played Robbie from Poltergeist. He played the little boy, Robbie. And Poltergeist was a movie that I watched over and over again as a kid. So anyway, I'm standing there, and he came up to my table, and he was talking to me, and I want to say we were talking about home renovation or something. And I had like one of those real quick bizarro moments where I was like, I'm fucking talking to Robbie from Poltergeist right now. And I thought about my brother, because I would watch Poltergeist with my brother usually, to the terror of my mother. She hated Poltergeist. She thought it was demonic. She didn't want us to watch it, so we had to watch it when they were gone. Anyway, I had that kind of a moment when I was interviewing Bill, because I've admired Bill Moseley for a long time. I just admire him so much as an actor. Let's see. I don't know how to say this person's name. It's SDIRAPX. Strips, said Jennifer Tilly. Let's see. She's been in Bride of Chucky. I can't remember anything else. Dark. Let me go back to Jennifer. Jennifer, I think, is in her 60s now and is still boom. See? Beauty changes. Beauty doesn't go anywhere. If you stay somewhat natural, beauty doesn't go anywhere. If you kind of take care of yourself, beauty will follow you throughout all the decades of your life. And Jennifer Tilly, I'm not sure if she's had anything done, but she doesn't. The last time I saw her picture, she didn't look like she was completely frozen with Botox and like completely stuffed with filler. So I'm sure she's had something because she's a celebrity, but she doesn't have that really overdone look. And to me, she's still very beautiful. So, I think these days you can have like certain facelifts and you can't tell that you had a facelift, and it doesn't like mess with you being able to move stuff, and it doesn't look like there's anything in your face. I think that's what throws it off for me, is when your face no longer looks human. You know what I mean? It looks waxy and plastic. Anyway, Jennifer doesn't look like that, or at least the last time I saw her, she didn't. And she's still beautiful in her 60s. Okay, Dark Larry said Elvira. That was their childhood crush. That's who they want to meet. And then Harry Middleton said Bruce Campbell, another one for Bruce. And then now let's play this phone call. Okay, here we go. Let me hit it. Hit it.
Hi, Sarah. This is Roland, and my dream guest to any horror convention would have to be the man himself, Stephen King. And I know that sounds like cliche or whatever, but we're talking about any dream guest, and I just love Stephen King because everything that he wrote has become so iconic. And to me, it's been incredible growing up through his life. I started reading his books as a teenager, where he was like the Schlockmeister, and everyone used to make fun of him. And now he's been awarded a presidential medal by Obama for his writing. And he's considered now among like Hemingway and Fitzgerald and Melville in terms of his importance as an American author. And you just look at like the new show, Welcome to Derry, with Pennywise, and just how terrifying and iconic his interpretation of what horror is. Yeah, so he would be my dream guest at any horror convention. And yeah, one day I hope to meet him.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Roland. That was an amazing phone call. Yes, Stephen King would be such a fabulous guest to meet. I went to when his book about the Kennedy assassination, I can't remember the title, 11, it was the title of the date of the Kennedy assassination was the title basically. But he was doing a book tour for that. And I went to the Dallas area to some high school, and he was doing a talk about it, you know? So I got to go sit in the audience and listen to him talk about that book. And then I got an autographed book afterwards, but it wasn't, they didn't have a meet and greet, unfortunately. But I was very close to Stephen King, and I got to hear him speak. And it was everything you wanted it to be. He was thoughtful and funny, and you could tell he knew what the audience wanted from him, and he gave us that. But at the same time, he was honest. I don't know. He was great. Stephen King, nobody else said that but you. And I, like you, started reading King at a young age. I was very young. I was in the 3rd grade, and I started reading Stephen King. The first book I read was Cujo, which was another one that Dee Wallace was in Cujo, the movie. I digress. Anyway, I started reading Stephen King when I was 8 years old, 3rd grade. It was Cujo, and I never stopped. And in fact, I just read a Stephen King book a couple months ago. I finished one up, and I picked up a new one, and I can't find what I did with it, so I got to find that book. But I still enjoy Stephen King, and I don't even want to talk about it. But I hope Stephen King has a vault somewhere where he's got 20 novels that he hasn't released that he can release posthumously after he dies. Because when he passes away, it'll be a very sad day for me, because he's been part of my life since I was in the 3rd grade. I've read just about every Stephen King book, some of them twice. Like I've read It a few times. I read The Stand a few times. The Shining a few times. There's certain ones that are just classics of his. I think I wasn't aware that the literary world back in the day kind of poo-pooed Stephen King for writing horror. But I think that's ridiculous that they did, because he's what got me into reading. His character development, the way he builds characters I can't compare it to any other author. He does so well with that. And I think that's why a lot of the movie adaptations of his stories don't do well. The ones that don't do well, it's because they can't put enough screen time into developing the characters the way that Stephen does when he's able to write out chapters and chapters of character development that really enrich the story. A lot of these movies can't do it. Having said that, there have been so many good Stephen King adaptations. You know what I mean? I just watched The Long Walk this year. It's one of the better horror movies of 2025. They did a great job with it. There's a lot of good Stephen King stories that became good movies, and then there's a lot that weren't, and I won't mention those, but a lot of good ones. The Green Mile, Shawshank Redemption, The Shining, of course, even though he didn't like Kubrick's version of The Shining. And I think one of the main reasons was because he didn't like the way that Kubrick had Shelley Duvall portray Wendy, because in the book, Wendy's very strong. And she faces the terror of her husband head on and very strong. Now, Kubrick had famously terrorized Shelley Duvall on set to get her into a very emotionally, what's the word? He wanted her on a razor's edge, you know what I mean? And he got her there. And so she portrayed Wendy very like, very just wide-eyed and trembling. And I think I loved The Shining. It's one of my favorite horror movies. The novel I loved as well. In fact, I may reread that coming up here pretty soon. It's so creepy. Oh my gosh, it is. The novel is so creepy. But I thought Kubrick did a good job. I really did. It is. He puts his own twist on it. But Stephen didn't really like that one. I think there's probably some other reasons involved. Anyway, I think it's one of the better adaptations. Stand By Me, R.I.P. Rob Reiner. God, that was a good movie. Man, speaking of Stand By Me, I watched the Corey Feldman documentary. It's on Apple TV right now. You could buy it. I think it's like $5. What a fucking creep. Okay. Corey Feldman, that documentary and his behavior make him out to be a creep and a delusional guy. And also, I think he might be lying about a lot of things, allegedly, in my opinion. Ugh. Just watch it. But he's delusional. He put together a band to go tour America. And a lot of people were going to see this band. Now, he's done a few versions of it, but when he first did it, it was with his quote unquote angels. They were basically like dressed in gauze, like it was almost nothing, and then these stupid wings. But the funny thing was, most of them, especially the ones he initially started with, didn't know how to play their instruments. Full stop. They did not know how to play their instrument. They could strum a couple of chords. It was bad. And Corey is tone deaf. He is tone deaf and doesn't have rhythm. And they went on a tour, and they were getting audiences because people like to go see things that are really bad, especially when the person doing it thinks it's really good. It's a weird thing. It's a weird phenomenon. You know what I mean? And anyway, it follows that. The documentary follows that tour, and it shows what was going on, the mayhem of it, and how everyone was kind of treated and what kind of mindset he was in. And it goes into some other things, but he was good in Stand By Me. And that's where that came from. So thank you for your call, Roland. Roland's great. Roland's also an author. I know that. We've been Instagram friends for a long time, so I appreciate you calling me. And if you guys want to call, I'm going to give you something to call me about here in a minute. So hang on to that thought. We're wrapping up here. Let's see. Yeah, we're almost done. Okay. Let me end on a few things. One, coming in 2026, I am going to start having guests. Okay. I'm going to start having some guests. I'm going to update some of this equipment. We're getting a new light. It's supposed to come in January. I might get another one. We have mics ready to go. I'm going to do some stuff to the background here. I'm going to settle on what I want for the background. And then we're going to have some guests. I've been wanting to get this podcast to a point where I was comfortable with operating the controls and this, that, and the other. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you. Good evening, Sarah. How are you doing? I'm doing great, Keenan. Thank you for being here. Sorry, someone popped in the chat. But I will have guests in 2026. Now, I said that, but I want you to know, I don't want to really do, what do you call it? when you're at the Zoom, like Zoom call guests. I'm not knocking that for the people and podcasts that do that. That's not what I want to do. You know what I mean? Unless I decide to start getting, like, for example, if I had the opportunity to interview Cassandra Peterson, but it was only on Zoom, okay, I would. But I'm not going to go after that type of a thing. I want people to come here and sit with me and let's shoot the shit. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to, you don't have to be famous to be up in here on this podcast. You just have to be someone I want to talk to in front of everybody else, okay? So, from time to time, I'll have a guest on here. Is that all right with you? Is that okay with you, Barbara? We're going to have guests in 2026. Not every time, but sometimes I want to start having guests. I think that'll be fun. And then also, I think I want to do some live podcasts, meaning at venues. I want to have a live podcast with a live audience. I think that would be cool. So I'm starting to kind of think about how that's going to work and plan that out in my head. And it's a goal for 2026. Guests and live podcasts. I think it would be fun to take it on the road eventually, maybe do it at conventions here in the future, but one step at a time. Sweet Satan, okay? One step at a time, sweet Satan. Now, here we go. We're coming to what I want you to call in. Remember, Scary Hotline. The number is 512-710-8766. Call me and let me know, what horror movie are you looking forward to in 2026? Let me know what horror movie you're looking forward to in 2026 by calling 512-710-8766. Leave me a voicemail on Scary Hotline. And we'll talk about it on the next Scary Screamcast podcast. You can find the podcast on all of your favorite podcast platforms or on YouTube. The Scary Damsel of the Doomed YouTube. I'll have my video podcast up there. So give me a call and let me know what horror movie you want to see in 2026. I'll tell you what I am looking forward to. Personally, I'm looking forward to 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, which is basically part 2 of 28 Years Later. That's coming out January 16th. I had the opportunity to see that come out in a sneak peek screening, but I denied the opportunity. And I've been waiting forever for that sumbitch to come out. And me and my friend T-Bone, Tony, not T-Bone, you T-Bone, the other T1, T-Woney, we're going to go see it. You can go too, T-Bone. T-Bone, by the way, is Tracy, and he's in the other room. Tracy, do you want to go see it? Have you seen 28 Years Later? Oh my God. He hasn't even seen the first one. You're not invited then. We're going to go see some other movie. That's what I'm looking forward to. Some other movies that are coming out in 2026. Scream, what is it? Scream, I don't know what they're up to. The latest Scream, 7, 8, 9, whatever it is. That's coming out. The Bride, that one's Maggie Gyllenhaal's movie about the Bride of Frankenstein. She's directing it. I'm excited for that one. I want to check it out. And then Ready or Not 2. Speaking of that one actress that I just said, now I can't remember her name. That's coming out. I enjoyed Ready or Not. I thought that was a good cat and mouse kind of horror thriller. And then Terrifier 4 is supposed to come out in October. I wonder if that's going to be the last in that franchise, Terrifier 4. I wonder. I don't know. Somebody the other day came up and they told me that they want me to have a Terrifier marathon for Scream Theater and show 1, 2, and 3 back to back. And I said, I don't think I can do that right now, but maybe in the future. But what I will do is for December 2026, I'll show Terrifier 3. It was Christmas horror, and it had Daniel Roebuck in it, and he was great. He was Santa. Anyway, I liked him. That's one you got. Daniel Roebuck's one you guys all should want to meet at a convention. He's great. He was in Rob Zombie's The Munsters. Fabulous actor. He's been in a lot of stuff. In fact, my friend Steve, who I was talking about earlier, he was in a movie with him. It's a small, small world. All right, so you got that? Answer me that question, all right? Let me know what you're looking forward to in 2026. And if you want, here's a bonus round. I'm gonna ask this, and I may clip it for a later use. But let's see. How do I want to phrase this? Okay. What do you want to see on my podcast in 2026? Do you want to see new features, guests, traveling podcast, live show? Do you want to see me do any kind of interesting this already isn't working. I already don't know how to phrase this. Never mind. I'll program my own freaking podcast. I don't need to ask you about it, Dad. Jeez. All right. We're at 57 minutes now, so I think it's a good time to wrap her up. Thanks for participating and answering those questions for me from the last time. 512-710-8766. You can call me and answer any question or anything I said today. You can just call and leave me a comment, ask me a question, or make a suggestion. Don't be afraid. I know everybody's afraid to talk on the phone these days. I'm myself included. I text. I mostly text. If I see somebody calling me, I'm always like, freeze up for a second. But this will go to the voicemail, so don't worry. Unless you're Tracy. Tracy tried to call and I accidentally picked it up like a jabroni. Like a real jabroni. But I'll let it go to voicemail, I promise you. Okay? So, having said that, thank you for watching. I'll be back next Wednesday. Before then, if you're in the Austin area, come to Horror Web Presents Scary Scream Theater. It's going to be on January 7th. Is that right? Check the date for me. Let me see. Let me look and pull up the calendar. 4th. Thank you, T-Bones. Okay. January 4th, out at Doc's Drive-In Theater. Come and join me for Horror Web Presents Scary Scream Theater. I'll be out there at about 5:30, hanging out inside Mama Merlot's, which is the speakeasy style bar. It's really cool. It's underground. And you go down there and have a little drink, hang out with me before the show. And then around 6:30, we're going to go back up. I'm going to climb up on this giant zombie head, and I'm going to deliver my sermon where I tell you all about the mystery movie you're about to watch. That's going to start around 6:30. The movie's an hour and a half or so, an hour and 40 minutes. And then you're home. Bing, bang, boom. Haven't watched a really cool horror movie. I'm not going to tell you what the horror movie is. You can go to my Instagram and look at the poster, and you'll probably get it from that. I will say it's atmospheric, meaning in the sense of it takes place in a very cold environment, and I'm hoping it'll be kind of cold at night, so you're going to feel it. You're going to feel like you're in the movie, sort of, okay? It's a great movie, and in fact, it was on the list of horror movie guests. The director of the movie and the main actor are both on this list of people's dream horror movie guests. So I'll see you, if you're in the Austin area, on January 4th out at Doc's Drive-In Theater for Scary Scream Theater, okay? All right, sounds good. Until then, I'll be back here next week on Wednesday. You can join the live. I come on around 7:30. And if not, just watch the videos later on YouTube, the Scared Damsel of the Doomed YouTube, or watch it or listen to it on your favorite podcasting network. Okay, that's all. I'll see you in your screens.